Yeah, good chance if you fell off a bridge, you're dead. That's the end of the movie.
Because if you're going to get amnesia and then be like otherwise completely fine, brains don't do that so much.
Or they clone you and they put you on stage and give you a Lifetime Achievement Award and you speak French.
En tant qu'acteur, chaque personnage.
Pennsylvania 6, 5,000.
Welcome back, movie listeners. My name is John. I'm a filmmaker.
My name's Matt. I'm a doctor. And the movie list is a list of 100 movies that John has curated for me to watch. We're going through them one at a time, and this week we're watching The Majestic.
The Majestic is about Peter Appleton, Jim Carrey, a blacklisted Hollywood screenwriter in the 1950s who loses his memory after a car accident and washes up in a small town.
Pennsylvania 6, 5,000.
The townspeople believe he is Luke Trimble, a local war hero who was presumed dead in World War II. And he gradually steps into that identity while helping restore the town's old movie theater, the Majestic title. As he builds a new life and grows close to Luke's family and former love, Peter starts to rediscover who he really is. The film becomes a story about identity, redemption, and standing up for truth when telling the truth could cost everything.
So anyway, like, can you imagine being like Jim Carrey's plastic surgeon right now? Like, ooh.
Or just being Jim Carrey.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
It's
imagine
so bad
having
that
some
people are
Botox.
like, well, clearly he's been body snatched, right? I mean, clearly.
Literally, like your Botox is so bad that people are just inventing, like, you've been replaced. You are now actually another person. You are a lizard now. Not great.
It's not great.
Yeah.
Not great.
Well, speaking of double personalities here, we are covering The Majestic. And Matt, tell me about your first watch of this Peter Appleton / Luke story of The Majestic. What'd you think?
Yeah, so this one really, truly very different from everything else that we've seen.
Yeah.
This one is kind of it's kind of heartwarming, you know? Not a lot of the movies that we've watched so far have really been heartwarming. But this one is about, a guy who had a life. Some cracks started to form. He has an accident, and now he's picking up from scratch and walks into some other guy's life and kind of tries to find his place in this town, figure out who he is. Really a very kind of a strange story, but they use it to kind of look at the human dynamics of a small town and the kind of the relationships that are important to people. Yeah, like I said, it was heartwarming. I think it's the best thing I could say. I would say that, like, I felt like this movie had a lot of potential to have really interesting plot twists if they wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Like, because they
Like he's a
even kind of-
lizard in the end.
yeah, like he's a
I know,
lizard man.
Right.
He's popping out of a cocoon into
Yeah.
somebody else's life. No,
Right.
but they kind of even float the idea in the movie that what if, Luke actually had some kind of traumatic brain injury during the war, and he's built a whole life for himself over the past decade, and then injured himself again, I suppose, and forgotten who he was. And so it really is Luke, but it's him having built a whole life somewhere else, having forgot he was Luke to begin with. So that, I think, would have been a really interesting movie if this had happened to him twice, but maybe that's a bridge too far.
So you're saying the twist is that he actually was Luke, who then had an injury, became
Right.
Peter, and then went back to being Luke.
And he went back to accidentally being Luke. I think that would have been interesting. Again, like I say, probably too far-fetched, but they could have, you could come up with something along those lines where he really was the person that the town thought he was,
Right.
versus being Peter Appleton and just happening to kind of look like Luke.
Right.
Yeah, I think that could have been an interesting twist, or like maybe he never got his memory back, or like 10 years in the future, he gets his memory back.
Right.
You know, those all would have been very different, very interesting movies.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a very different movie. Fun in its own way. And it kind of increasingly fun as the movie moves on.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I think especially toward the end, it gets kind of spicy and interesting, and I
Right.
like that.
So you've seen Truman Show, right? So you've seen some like
Yeah.
Jim Carrey drama-esque.
Mhm.
All right. So this wasn't like a total shock, to the system
No.
of seeing Jim Carrey cry a
No.
lot.
Yeah,
You cried a lot.
I watched a good portion of it with Michelle.
Yeah.
She had to go to sleep at some point, but she watched the first hour
During-
with me,
Yeah.
and she's like, "This is really off-putting to see Jim Carrey in a series." Like, she just hasn't watched. I've watched Truman Show like 100 times,
Right,
so,
right.
but she's not as familiar with him not in comedy roles. So
Right.
for her, it was kind of bizarro world.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. I think he does a good job as a drama actor as well.
He does. I mean, this was in the stage of his career where he was really obviously hunting for an Oscar, right? Like he did Truman, he did this, he did Man on the Moon. Afterwards he did Eternal Sunshine and really got shut out the whole time. So
when did Man on the Moon come out?
It
In
was
his, I thought it was a little
right
bit later
before-
on.
I believe it was before this, actually. I might be wrong.
Really?
I want to say the order of it in terms of his drama roles were Truman, Man on the Moon, and then this, and then Eternal Sunshine after.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I for some reason in my head, Man on the Moon came out
Yeah.
like way after
So-
the rest of it. But
Yeah, I mean, spoiler alert, this movie was not a big success, financially at least. Some of that I think might be the time. Some timing is so important in things in life, and especially in movies. This came out about 100 days after 9/11, right? So it's an awkward place in movies just in general, based on the fact that it's about a town that's kind of reeling from like loss. It has the patriotic stuff, which is great, and I think the country needed, but to a certain degree, maybe it was too soon. We just wanted some escapism. Aside from that, it came out at the same time, literally the same weekend as Fellowship of the Ring. It came out like Harry Potter was in theaters still. The first Harry Potter was in theaters. So this opened up 8th at the box office. It was under Jimmy Neutron, the movie. If that gives you an idea. So this
which
movie
is a banger
was
of a movie too.
I don't know. I guess maybe that's be on your movie list.
Brain Blast, dude. That's a good one.
But yeah, it was very much buried, which is part of the reason I put this on the list, right? Because I feel like this is a special movie that needs to be seen and really was just kind of buried. I remember you texted me like that you literally had not even heard about this movie.
The first time I heard about it was when you said this is what we're watching. Okay.
Right. And that's the case for a lot of people. It's not a super well-known movie. It's to an extent, it's kind of a B movie, which is the irony of it, because like as it's setting up his character, he's a B movie writer.
Yeah.
And so like, but I think there's a place for that because like historically B movies, like where that term comes from was like in the 30s, like after Depression where people were not going to movies, they had to really kind of make a value to it. So you would pay one ticket and then you would go see the A movie. It was like a double feature. It was like a 5-hour event. You would see the A feature and then they would put in news and then they would put in cartoons and then you would show the B movie. Right. And so there was really an important place for B movies in kind of in cinema history. But this very, very much was a B movie type structure with like an A movie budget. Unfortunately, I think it had like a $72 million budget and it grossed total box office $37 million. So this was like a crushing blow. Frank Darabont was the director of this. It was the only one he didn't write. But he was coming off Shawshank and coming off Green Mile, which was on the list. Both just incredible movies, amazing drama, kind of the mysticism side of it. And so I think he maybe got a little bit too much of a leash there.
Yeah, I would say of Mr. Darabont, he's not into the whole brevity thing, is he?
No. This movie was about an hour too long.
Yeah, I'll agree. This was like 2.5 hours. Same with Green Mile.
Right.
Same with Shawshank. Like they're just so long. It's like I have to break them up into chunks because they're so long.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I think to a certain degree, like with the B movie thing, this being that, like Darabont came from that, right? It wasn't like Shawshank's when everybody found out about it, right? But he had like a decade and a half of making like, he made Nightmare on Elm Street 3. He did, what was it? The Blob, which is actually not a bad movie, but low budget kind of creature feature, which is like, I think he still has that love. If you look in the movie, it shows, that they're watching The Creature of the Black Lagoon. They're watching Invasions of the Body Snatcher. So these kind of like genre pictures were all B movies. And so the irony of that is that these movies came out in the 40s and 50s and there were B movies, but have really kind of outlasted the test of time. Like if I told you what the A picture was when Creature of the Black Lagoon came out, nobody knows what that movie is anymore. But everybody knows Creature of the Black Lagoon. Everybody knows, Body Snatchers and all these things. And so I think it was kind of a dedication. It was a love letter to those type things. It had kind of a Capra-esque type vibe to it, which is film geek language for Frank Capra, who is the guy who did It's a Wonderful Life, right?
Okay.
So he did Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, which
seen,
we've talked about, right? Might be on the list, right? We'll see. I don't know. You guys let us know if that's something you would want to see us talk about, because I'm not trying to bore everybody with just my taste. It came out in 1939, right? So I get it's a very different vibe, but I think it's a great movie. It's Jimmy Stewart standing up. It's just old school, like American. No, I got to stand up for America and the First Amendment, right? And I get hyped about that stuff. And you see that's kind of why I love this movie, is because it is a little bit of that old school Frank Capra feel of like a movie that has good characters. It's funny, it's good acting, but also has like kind of a message in there and a good feeling of like patriotism, old school patriotism, patriotism being like fighting, for our rights, fighting for the First Amendment. And then the kind of just the magic of the movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Majestic being the title. It's just about returning to that magic. Right? When they go to the theater in the very beginning, I'm like nostalgic about that time, and I wasn't alive, right? Like at the time where you would kind of put on a suit and like going to the movies was just this huge event. So yeah, it was like, Martin Landau's character talks about like there was, Chaplin and Jimmy Cagney and Jimmy Stewart, and like they were gods, and this was Mount Olympus, so it was really just this kind of revered moment of movies. And then now, unfortunately, with streaming and with all this noise out there, it's so easy to kind of put something on. You're on your phone half the time. There's just no reverence to the story anymore.
Right.
And so so the irony of that was that this movie kind of got swept under the rug as part of that transition in history.
Yeah, that is interesting. I did like that they talked about walking in and it being like you're walking into heaven, and then it has like, the golden pillars and all the,
right.
rich, heavy curtains and all this, and velvet and all that. I guess, kind of on that theme with like the theater kind of died in that town, and then the American building it back up again and all that. They talked about like there's nothing more capitalist a man could do than build up a business like that. But
right,
that notion of like the fading theater, like just recently, like Timothy Chalamet got into some hot water talking about him being worried about theaters dying, like
right,
which I think, in the context of what he was saying, I don't think what he said was outrageous, but again, for an actor to say that he thinks that, ballet and opera are things that we keep alive, just like they're arts that want to die and we just have them on life support, essentially is what he's implying. But
yeah,
I think his point is just like movies, like theater movies, that whole experience is kind of slowly becoming emaciated. over time. Like people don't go to the movies like they used to when we were in high school.
Right, right. Yeah. Well, I mean, comparing it to the ballet or opera, I think was a little moronic on his side because it's like
Right, fair.
the irony of it is that like he is probably a part of one of the only franchises right now that's getting people excited to go to movies.
Yeah.
Right. Being the Dune series. Like there's not a lot of franchises out there that are doing something like that. They're like, I've got to go see this in IMAX. It's worth paying $30, to experience this in IMAX.
Right.
So just the irony of him saying that and making tens of millions of dollars off it at the same time annoys me.
I can't help but like the guy though. I really like him. I don't want to like him, but I can't help it.
I'm not sure I'm there yet, to be honest. I'm not sure I'm there yet.
He'll get there. He'll win you over.
I'm not sure I will. Like I saw something the other day online and it was showing Robert Pattinson's career. And it was like Robert Pattinson is what Timothée Chalamet thinks he is. And so I think Robert Pattinson is actually a fantastic actor. And Timothée Chalamet just is maybe given better roles. But I don't know, maybe I'll be won over. I haven't seen Marty Supreme yet. Maybe that'll be something that wins me over. I do love the Safdie brothers, or I think Josh Safdie. So I haven't checked that out. I will. But yeah, I mean, part of it is it shouldn't just be Dune. There should be a place for new original stories. Ironically, as I talk about Marty Supreme, here's a new original story that I haven't gone and seen. So I'm not, I'm being a little hypocritical here.
Being part of the problem, John.
That's right. It's right. I'm a part of the problem as I just freaking binge watch Landman season 2 on my phone. And so, but yeah, I mean, they're dumbing down movies. I read something the other day that said like, Netflix is telling, or the streaming services are telling movies that part of the dialogue and shows are so bad is because they need to be able to write them so that people can be on their phones while it's on and still track what's going on in the story. That's where like, and now we must go to the train station so that we can go on the train to college, where we go to college at this university. Like so they're expelling everything.
And the train is the way that we get there.
That's why we're on this train right now. It's a train.
It's going to our college.
Yeah, correct.
That's sad, man.
Yeah.
And they even pointed out in the movie, like, why would you watch something at home when you could go experience it in the theater? Like,
right.
In the Majestic, they make that point.
Literally. But in there, it was why would you watch something in a box?
Right.
But no, really, Martin Landau's speech there is kind of what activates that in me. That's why I love this movie, is I feel the same. Like, I feel like I desire, and I think I got a tiny bit of it. I love the 90s. I think the 90s was probably the best decade in cinema. And there was that moment, right? And maybe it's just because I was a kid, but there was the magic of going to the movies and seeing, for them, it was like Jimmy Cagney and Jimmy Stewart. And for us, it's like Cruise and Hanks and, like just dinosaurs and Terminators. Yeah. Like that was our version of that. But there was something really magical about it. And that's the point of the movie list a little bit. It's just find that magic.
While we're kind of talking about the theater piece of the Majestic, one of the parts that I really enjoyed about it was him going through like the concessions and he's like, hey, we need to order more jujubes and we need to get more, like, which just, we haven't really talked about this yet, but what is your go-to movie theater order?
Oh, I've got a good one. I got a real good one.
Let's have it.
So I get Bunch of Crunch, right? A box of Bunch of Crunch. Pour it in the popcorn. Mix it up.
What are you doing to me?
I know. I'm actually upset that I don't have that in front of me right now. But yeah, that if I go to the movie theater, I'm going to get Bunch of Crunch and I'm going to end up paying like $100 because after the tickets and the Bunch of Crunch and the popcorn. I want to pay it because I believe in movie theaters. I want to support them, but dang, it's getting tough. Things are, in this economy, good gracious, it's expensive to go to the movie theaters.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what Chalamet was saying, right? Maybe it's like, unfortunately, turning into like an elite thing, right? It used to be like the Majestic. It was a community thing where everybody would come together. And now it's like, you can freaking, like, it's so expensive.
A second mortgage on your house to go.
Exactly. Like, why would you not stay home and watch the same movie like 2 weeks later?
Right.
So with everything going on with, the Netflix acquisition and, Harry Potter getting dumbed down to like a show. And like, I don't know how I feel about it yet.
Right.
But I believe movies like this in what they are, and also like what they're saying, and there is a place for a B movie, not from the sense of like it's just a crappy low budget movie, even though that's been my career. I'm not ashamed to say for the most part. We try our best, right? But we're working off limited budgets.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, for an extent of like, let's have there's nothing wrong with your Marvels and your big tent poles, but let's offset that, with some original stories and taking risks and good characters and then have that
Yeah.
offset.
Which does bring me to my movie order. Thank you for asking. It's gonna be I got a cherry Coke. I got
Okay.
a popcorn I don't do the extra butter. I find it too messy.
Yeah.
And the popcorn gets soggy over time. Like you really
Yeah.
gotta hork it down to make
Right.
that crunch still be there. And then Mike and Ike's.
I love Mike and Ike's.
Yeah, man. That's
solid.
that's a
Yeah.
you want a little something fruity, a little something salty.
Yeah. I like doing them one
my
at a
go-to.
time and just like crushing them, like in those like hydraulic crushers. My
Mhm.
teeth do that.
you put them up
Trying to
tall
flatten.
ways.
Yeah, I put them tall way and just.
Oh man.
There's no no new human experiences. We're all the same.
When I was doing, back in the Blockbuster era,
Yeah.
we would always get snow caps and hot tamales
Nice.
when I was a kid. Those was kind of our
Yeah.
or Red
Hot tamales
Hots.
is basically just spicy Mike and Ike's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever do Red Hots?
Yeah, I like Red Hots.
Yeah.
I like
haven't had
pretty
a,
much
haven't
anything.
Had a Red Hot
I
in
don't
20
love
years.
Butterfingers. I don't love Butterfingers.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Unless it's an
Hey,
ice cream. A Butterfinger
maybe
and
our
ice cream.
next live or bonus features we'll rank movie theater.
Ooh.
We'll tier rank movie theater
I like that.
candies. Speaking of which, guys, if you want to feel elite over your friends, we got some new merch here, right? So the whole point of the movie list is just, I can't believe you haven't seen that movie, right? And you guys, if you're watching this, you're probably huge movie fans, and you want to feel elite to your friends. So grab one of these bad boys.
Nice.
You can actually say to them via merchandise, I can't believe you haven't seen that. It's I'm not going to list what references are on here legally. I'm not sure. I got to consult with my counsel first. But you know what these are. You know these references. And hopefully we don't get taken down or sued by the studio system.
Generic movie with DeLorean. Generic movie with sparkly red shoes.
Ruby shoes. Ruby.
If we're even talking about movies.
Right, exactly. They're books. They're based on the books.
Yeah.
But yeah, the beginning of the Majestic, they roll in. Again, we're talking about the grandiose. Nothing is more like that temple of movies than, Grauman's Chinese theater in Hollywood. Which if you haven't gone, do yourself a favor, don't do it, because it'll ruin the image you have in your head. Because that's what I thought, like, me being, naive, thinking it's going to be like everyone's going to be in suits. And instead, it was just mostly homeless people, like, laying out front. Not
that there's anything wrong with ammonia. That, of course.
No, just not not what I want to, not the experience I thought I was walking into. They were in suits, though, so that was nice. Nice of them.
Oh. Well, maybe they just got sleepy.
And Darabont, actually, that was his first job. Frank Darabont's first job was as working as an usher at that theater that they start the movie in, which is pretty cool. And he goes in, he gets his snacks, right? Peter does, Jim Carrey's character. He goes and stops by the poster, and kind of move the smudge out of the way so you can see his name. Something I loved about that scene, by the way, as he moved the smudge, and he goes, God, I love seeing my name on a poster. And then it says directed by Frank Darabont right as he says that, which I thought was pretty clever on Frank's
nice
part.
Touch.
Yeah. But yeah, he's the B movie. It's the Sand Pirates of the Sahara.
I was curious about something, and I don't know. You probably don't know the answer to this. Is like so minute a detail, but written on the poster in marker, it said, I think it said 51/340.
Yeah.
Was it like the number print of that
Yeah.
poster.
Yeah, so the posters and the actual film reels would go out together. So that tells you how many theaters that this one went to.
Right.
It's actually
3,
kind of a mistake that's crazy that you caught that because it was kind of a mistake in the movie.
Because they did
Was
it the
that
other one too.
it's the same exact one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, maybe it was a mistake. Maybe they literally just stopped showing the movie
And they purchased the same
secondary
reel.
sold it. Yeah, they bought the same reel at the Majestic, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, it's this
Right.
movie within a movie of the Sand Pirates of the Sahara. Bruce Campbell, who is like the Indiana Jones character in it, is a legendary B-movie actor. You know,
Mhm.
Army of Darkness and Evil Dead. Actually, the whole set that they did that in was the Scorpion King set. They were shooting that on the same lot, and Darabont was friends with the guy who was doing Scorpion King. And so they actually used the Scorpion King set. And then the little thing that he hits the guy over the head with, and he's holding the little thing.
Like the
That's
gold
actually
head.
the same. That's the same little gold head from Indiana Jones from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh,
The
all
one
right.
that he goes in and steals. It's
Yeah.
actually the same one.
With a
Yeah.
little
So
bag of
there's all
sand.
kinds of cool little movie Easter eggs worked in on that scene, which I like.
That's cool. Yeah, I haven't seen like Evil Dead and all that stuff, so I don't know if that's movie list worthy. But
Man, it's
I know
so
that
tough.
I know those movies have like a cult following. So I know
They do. I don't know.
get-
We'll have to look at it. Guys, let us know if Evil Dead is something you'd like for us to talk about. I love Evil Dead. But again, it's I know it's kind of a niche audience,
Yeah.
and I can talk about any kind of movie. I'd
love
love to
that
talk
about
about
you.
Evil Dead. So, and it's something you should watch. So it'll be. I mean, the movie list is going to go on forever. But first, we got to start
probably.
with the 100
The
essentials.
first 100. Yeah,
Right. The first 100. Gosh, that's crazy. There's 100 movies that I'm in love with that you haven't seen.
I haven't seen them at all. I didn't even know this one existed.
Yep. So obviously the big, inciting incident here is that, they let him know that the HUAC, which is the, House Committee on Un-American Activities, is looking into him for communist propaganda, which obviously was a real thing that happened in the 40s and late 40s, early 50s, really, post World War II of really, looking into communist propaganda in Hollywood. Were these movies actual movies, or were they just all communist propaganda? And it got a little out of hand. There maybe was one, honestly. I think early on there probably was one, and then it just become kind of a witch hunt.
Right, trying to get
And
the
so-
Reds out of Hollywood.
Exactly. And unfortunately, Jim Carrey, our hero, gets pulled into all that and gets blacklisted for having his scripts have.
Am I blacklisted? He goes,
Yeah.
there's no blacklist.
It's something I loved, actually. The beginning scene when he's sitting there and all the studio executives are like tearing apart his script, right? He has the script about the coal mine, and there's all these studio executives like, what? No, throw that in. Let's put in a dog. What if a dog's in there? Sidney Pollack and Rob Reiner are in there, and Carl Reiner, Rob's dad, are actually some of the voices in like that are the studio playing the studio executives.
What about the kid?
What kid?
You know, the kid who rings the bell.
What kid? What bell? What the hell are you talking about?
The kid. Say we give no name.
A dog.
A dog? A dog.
Yeah, one of my favorite jokes in the whole movie is when the what is he's the character played by Bob Balaban, the bespectacled guy.
The senator guy.
Yeah. So his character, he's like, this is all communist garbage, front to back. There was one part in there about a dog that I liked.
Communist propaganda beginning to end. Well, there's a dog in it I like, but aside from that...
But aside from that, it's all communist. That's the one part that they
literally the only.
replaced. That was a beautiful little, Bob Balaban is one of those guys that is in like 1,000 movies and shows.
Right.
Like you see his face, like, I know this guy. For me, the thing that kind of jumps into my mind that I know him from is he plays the guy in Lady in the Water who tries to like logic his way out. He's like a writer. He's like trying to logic his way out of getting eaten by the monster in the movie. He's like standing in the hallway. He's like, well, if you're the monster and I'm standing in this hallway, the monster never actually gets the first guy because that would be me. And I'm going to be I don't remember his exact lines, but he turns around and immediately gets eaten. And that's how I remember Bob Balaban. So that's what my brain said. When I
He
saw
kind of
his
has
face.
that same vibe in this movie too. He's
He
like, he's a
does.
communist, and we have to stop him because he's a communist.
And he does point out that the dog in the story is the thing he likes.
This guy loves dog movies, just very weird dog movies.
On toast with me. To the land of the free and the home of the brave.
You're babbling, pal.
Ashes to Ashes, my movie.
Could have been good. Even with the stupid dog.
Poor Peter is drinking his sorrows away at some nice little tropical cabana bar with a monkey for some reason.
That monkey is horrifying. It's the ugliest thing I've ever laid eyes on. I thought it was going to be a bigger deal with like just how much of an eyesore it was. Like if you're going to pick a prop like that, you got to weave it in there somehow. They just don't explain why he has the ugliest monkey ever conceived of.
My grandfather had that. My grandfather had that monkey.
I wonder if it means something.
I think everyone back then had that monkey. I think it was the only toy. There was like 2 toys, and it was like generic monkey and generic like wooden car, and like the dolls that looked like demons. Remember those? The ones that would like.
Oh, you lift them.
Like, why did they do that?
Because they go to sleep when you lay them
nothing
down.
is more terrifying than that.
Yeah, when you lay them down, it's cute, and when you get them up again, and they're like, yeah, that's
Just staring
that's
at
a little
your
off-putting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the monkey was going to be a bigger deal. The way that he like knocked it off the shelf and landed in the box, I was like, well, that's outrageous. I would never do that.
You thought it was a movie about a monkey. You thought the monkey was the Majestic.
I thought the monkey was at least going to be like his sidekick, or maybe that was going to be like jogged his memory or something. But no, it's just random.
Right.
So,
a little history fact. Did you catch in the bar when he says, can you give J. Edgar Hoover, put in a good word for me? And the bartender says, I wouldn't know J. Edgar Hoover if he walked in a dress. Which fun little history fact. J. Edgar Hoover was actually a cross-dresser, pretty famously. And so he could have actually walked in on a dress in that moment.
I didn't know that.
Now you do. Maybe you didn't want to, but you do now. So you can't take it back.
Now
maybe he was a reptilian.
It's in there. That would make maybe.
Maybe. So he does the wise move of after being like plastered drunk, and he goes on a drive. He decides to drive up Big Sur, or whatever that beautiful coastline is.
I would say the composition on that shot was actually quite beautiful.
Dude,
you got the moon,
of the whole movie,
and then the water, and then the road with his car headlights. Like it was really picturesque. Like, oh, that's kind of nice.
Yeah, I'm forgetting the guy's name, but it's the same cinematographer who did the Star Wars movies, Episode 1, 2, and 3. So some early dude had some talent. I mean, the whole movie is beautifully shot. I mean, for what it is, it's really a beautiful movie.
Yeah.
So he's driving up the coast drunk and tries to swerve to not hit a possum. Let's run over to the possum.
Which, by the way, cutest possum I ever saw. Holy cow! Where'd they find
Whoever
that thing?
casted that possum, give that guy an award.
I was like, maybe I've been wrong about possums this whole time. The possums we have around here
before,
not good. I never saw a possum. I was like, oh, until that one.
Yeah,
it's so fluffy.
So it was worth risking his life over to swerve and drive off the car or drive off the bridge and crash, hitting his head and then losing his memory. Is this a medical minute, Matt? I looked
into I looked into this because I don't know if you know this. Amnesia is not all that common.
It is in movies. It is in movies. Like
everywhere.
When they need it to be. Yeah.
Never heard of it. So the one time where you might commonly see amnesia is like concussions, and then it's very transient, very brief, usually resolves in a couple days at the most.
Right.
And it's usually surrounding those events that led up to the injury. So brains are neat in kind of how they work. You've got about 6 seconds of your memory that is stored, like it hasn't been cemented in your synapses yet. It's just chemical signals. And if you get hit hard enough in the head, you might lose those 6 seconds. So,
Right.
like all that stuff leading up to right when you got injured, that might be a blank because it never got
Right.
actually formed into a memory. You can also get amnesia. Usually, will push back even within maybe that hour that led up to all. You don't remember going to baseball practice or wherever where you got hit in the head.
Right.
And then a lot of that will fill back in over time. So you will remember the things you lost. When you get these longer, like bigger episodes of amnesia, usually there's something wrong with your brain.
Yeah.
So when you start to lose like autobiographical information or like factual knowledge, usually you have some sort of true brain injury. So I was looking into a case that I think happened in like 2008 of a guy who I think he had been an athlete. He was in his 40s. He slipped in the bathroom at his office, hit his head, and he lost everything. So just like in the Majestic, like 42 years of his life is gone. He doesn't remember anything. He don't know who he is. Doesn't know his kids, his wife, his parents. And initially the doctors thought it's just a concussion. This is all going to come back. And it just kept getting worse. And he started having real bad headaches and stuff. And they found that like his whole temporal lobe had pretty much been obliterated. So your temporal lobe houses a lot of your memory storage, but also your hippocampus, hippocampus makes a lot of it stores a lot of memory, but also it's like the thing that lets you make memory. So I know we're getting a little out into the weeds, but yes, it can happen when people have that bad of amnesia. Usually they're not coming back from it.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny saying that about the memory because I feel like there's the scene in The Lighthouse where he's up there with Adele and then they're like bouncing off movie quotes off each other and he's memorized all these movie quotes.
You remember movies, but you don't remember your life?
Yeah.
And I was just thinking that would like totally be me if I lost my memory. Like if I had amnesia, I'm like, I don't know who I am, but I can quote like the entire, I can just do all these entire movie quotes.
Like
and
Bill
I
and
know
Ted, the whole thing.
I was like, all right, what number are we thinking of? 69, dudes.
Yeah. Whoa. There are strange things afoot tonight at the Circle K. We watched that a lot.
Yes.
I like that scene because Adele gets the hiccups when she's nervous. Probably because of problems with reflux. But she's like, there was this one thing that always cured it.
Come on, your father said any little thing could jog my memory.
And never in all of human history has kissing somebody made hiccups go away. Not ever. It didn't make any sense.
Didn't have to. That's the thing that's the most unrealistic thing about this.
There's this one thing. Doctors hate this one trick.
It is you. Oh, Luke. Luke, I never gave up hoping. You're alive, my boy. God.
When they go into the town, they're like, you look just like this guy, Luke. You look just like Luke, right? Everybody keeps saying, you look so familiar, right? And there's like, all of it's kind of leading to the moment of where he sees a picture of Luke. Is there anything more like kind of like nerve-wracking than that in real life? When somebody's like, you look just like this guy I know. And then they're like pulling up a picture and you're like, come on, please be good looking. Please don't be a freaking monster. And they show you're like, oh, come on. That's what I look like. Like I've gotten that a lot. One I get common is David Harbour, who is the Jim Hopper in Stranger Things.
Right.
Which
I can see it.
It could be, but I'm like Jim Hopper if he was like actually if he was actually upside down, then I'm Jim Hopper upside down.
To me, you're more like Seth Rogen if he had been bit by like a radioactive Costa Rican.
You gotta watch out for those radioactive Costa Ricans.
That's
maybe that's
he
what
is
happened to
Costa
Jim
Rican,
Carrey.
by the way, just for those of you watching.
Maybe not Seth Rogen. I am. But yeah, maybe that's what happened. Maybe Jim Carrey got bit by a radioactive French guy. Like, why could he speak French all of a sudden? Like, what happened?
It was the data pack that they
no
downloaded.
one's ever heard. The reptiles just download him. He's like, I know French. It was the Matrix
and Kung Fu. Yeah,
and my eyes changed colors.
Did they? I didn't notice.
Yeah, that's that big part of the thing. He pretty much looks exactly like puffy Jim Carrey, but his eyes are a little bit different, and he speaks French. So people are like, that is a reptile,
right? And he had 3 rows of teeth.
Yeah, luckily the Luke in the movie, pretty good looking guy actually. I think he pretty closely resembles Jim Carrey.
Luke in the movie.
Yeah, in the movie. Well, when they show the picture, yeah,
it's Jim Carrey.
I don't think it is.
I think it is, dude.
Really? He looks different. I don't know. Guys, let us know in the chat. Is that Jim Carrey or not?
It totally is.
No. It might
it's just him in sepia tone, man.
His eyebrows looked a little different. Maybe he was already starting to molt back then.
I'm skipping ahead a little bit. I thought that they were going to, because like Matt Damon is the voice of the real Luke. So like he reads a letter at the end. And I was like, I know that voice. It took me, like 30 seconds. Not even that long. It took me 5 seconds. I'm like, oh, that's it's Matt Damon.
Yeah.
And then they kind of start like going through like the little battalion's camp. And it was like coming up to him. And I was like, are they going to show him being Matt Damon and try and play it off like they look identical? I really thought they were going to.
Jim Carrey really pushed that. He's like, yeah, so we need to find a doppelganger for Jim Carrey. He's like, it's Matt Damon. He's like, yeah, I'm not sure you look. Yes, it is. It's Matt Damon. Make him Matt Damon. Interesting tie-in there with Matt Damon. The Matt Damon obviously is Ryan. He's Private Ryan in Saving Private Ryan. And obviously this movie is about, a lost soldier in World War II. Frank Darabont actually did some of the writing on Saving Private Ryan. He wrote the whole first act of Saving Private Ryan, which is probably the best stuff. And so I think he probably did so much research in that time. He probably took a lot of the research of researching, lost soldiers and, POWs and those kind of guys in World War II. And probably, I think he took that into this movie and some of the rewrites. But Saving Private Ryan on the list. Fascinatingly.
Yeah, I have not seen it. Believe it or not.
That one.
I'm ashamed of that
I'm not sure what we're waiting for. I don't feel like we're there yet. We're not ready. We're not ready. We haven't earned it. You haven't earned it.
We're chipping away at it.
Yeah, we're chipping away.
Good
gracious. So yeah, the whole town, he meets up with his old love interest, Laurie Holden. Plays Adele. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of wild. Like, so to frame it, he's been presumed dead for 9.5 years.
Right.
He shows back up. And first of all, she can't tell that it's not actually him, which I find hard to believe. But what I find bordering on offensive is that she just assumes they're going to pick up where they left off 10 years ago. A little presumptuous, don't you think? Like, obviously, I mean,
what if he wasn't into her? What if he was like, no, thanks. No, I'm
good. Yeah. I mean, 10 years. He's like, I'm married. Thank you very much. She comes in, do you remember me? Well, let's rekindle this flame. I just
Yeah.
I just don't I don't think that would be that's not real, you know?
Well, I
None
mean,
of this is real.
the exactly. Jim Carrey told us, we're not real. The doctor, her dad, the doctor, says it. And they have this big party. Welcome home, Luke. He's a war hero. And Martin Landau, his dad, Luke's dad, and then Adele's dad are talking, and he does have that moment of like, I wonder if, like, what if he has had a family this whole time? It's almost like your theory of the ending of like, what if he's had a family this whole time, and what if he remembers, and which life is he going to choose? So I mean, yeah, it literally
Right.
he could have a whole nother life.
Yeah. So at the party, my favorite scene in the whole movie is when they ask him to come up on stage and play the piano,
Yeah.
and he doesn't know how to play the piano. And so he goes up there and like, come on, let's play this song. And like, he can't do it. And then he realizes, wait a second, I do know how to play the piano. And he like discovers that he's excellent at piano. That is like, it's like the scene where Spider-Man learns he has powers, like is that kind of thing. Like, it's such a cool moment, like discovering you're a superhero kind of thing. I've got these powers and talents I didn't know I had.
Right. Yeah, my wife said that would be her literal nightmare if somebody said, get on stage in front of hundreds of people and play an instrument you don't know. And just everybody's just sitting there watching you, really hoping you get it. And
it was
then
like so painful, but
then
when he actually knows how to do it, I was like,
there's an old lady who's like, come on, play it. Play this song. And he's like, I'm trying. She's like, play it.
And then he plays like a wonderful jazz, and she's like furious about it for some reason. Just like whacking him.
And then the old usher guy comes up. That was my favorite line in the movie. He goes, I taught him that when you weren't looking. Dude, that guy makes the movie. I've never seen him in anything else, but
yeah,
I feel like he makes this movie great.
He was great. He added he seemed like the realest character.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Him being in that town made it feel fleshed out.
Found me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know who was down here.
Just me and the dog.
What's his name?
Dog.
Simple. I like it.
Yeah.
So when you say he made the movie, I really do think he did. I don't think that town really works without his character in there.
Yeah, I agree. The Spencer character, the guy who plays the clarinet, interesting thing about him, they're doing the Pennsylvania 6-5000 do, which is so catchy. That song is a Glenn Miller song. So I don't know if you know Glenn Miller did Moonlight Serenade. I promise you've heard Glenn Miller. You just don't know.
I'm sure I have.
And he famously has the circle glasses just like Spencer. Interesting thing about Glenn Miller, he actually in World War II was flying from town to town in the Western Front over France, between France and Germany, flying from town to town, playing for the soldiers there during the war, and got shot down on the French and German line and died in combat. So I think it's interesting to play a Glenn Miller song, about a town that has essentially lost their whole generation of sons to World War II.
Yeah, that is a nice little nod.
Yeah. So the movie takes a shift and turns into basically an episode of HGTV of like Flip This Theater. It's got kind of like a Hallmark vibe of like, where the whole town comes together and we're gonna, he puts his submission before the mayor that can we like use town supplies. Which
That's
I love
a very
the guy.
funny scene.
I love the guy that's like, well, we gotta put this to order. Somebody's got to vote on it first. He's like, all right, does somebody vote on it? He's like, yes. He's like, seconded. Discussion open, discussion closed. Okay, here we go. And he's like, well, we gotta vote on it.
Well, thank you.
There's always
Thank you
that
for doing
guy.
this the right way.
100%, dude. The HOA guy just was even around during that. That was just their HOA meeting.
There's rules. There's rules about this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
I liked that. That was a great scene. Again, also kind of fleshing out the town. You got to have HOA guy in the town. Like part of the motion was like, let's make a motion to encourage the town to help with the theater. Did you really need a motion?
You could just do that. You could just say it.
That was fun.
Yeah, good old politics.
Yeah, the renovations, they had a lot of electrical problems. When you turn on the light switch and everything starts exploding,
Right.
you got some work to do.
Yeah.
That part felt a little over the top, but I liked when the guy on the roof was like, there's just explosions behind him. We do actually see that monkey again. So there's some kids. They find the monkey.
He's looking rough,
all
too.
waterlogged. And then they find his flipped over beautiful Mercedes, I think. And then that has his wallet in it and his coat. And that leads the feds back to that town. Like, all right, we got you now. And they come in with a whole fleet of cars and motorcycles, and he's just standing in the middle of the street, and they all come pulling up to him, and he's remembered who he is by now.
Curses on you.
Curses on you.
Infidel.
Infidel.
Oh, Roland.
Oh, Emily.
Oh, shit.
The moment where because he knows all the lines of the movie. He wrote the movie.
Right.
So that donk of the head, that little hook, when
pulled
he gets
him
hit
out.
with the baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Anything there medically? Can you get hit? Can you remember things from getting hit in the head?
Not in my experience.
All right, in your medical expertise.
But again, we don't understand amnesia that well. So
Right.
Still being studied.
Yeah.
Most of what we learn about the brain is from injuries. Fun fact. But yeah, so he gets found out, he gets found, and then they are like, all right, you communist scum, we're going to go try you. So they take him to this court case, which they televise nationwide, apparently. And they're going to have him read out this list of names. But before they do that, they got to, canvass the town. And so they're asking people all these questions. So he's got a day to chill in the town. And so he's going to bring the Medal of Honor back to put in that little case in front of the tomb of the real Luke. And his girlfriend Adele is there, or his ex-girlfriend now. Because then he's kind of a coward. Because he's like, I'm going to go and I'm going to read these names. I'm going to go sing like a canary.
They're so
I
mad
don't
at
go
him.
to
They're
jail.
like, you're not Luke. He's like, literally, I'm not Luke. They're like, well, Luke won a Medal of Honor. He's like, I write B movies.
I am not him.
Yeah.
But I thought you were like him, though. Like, why?
Because you look like him.
Yeah. So that is fun, little twist. It's that's one, you could feel that one coming the whole movie. You knew that he was going to remember. And everyone's going to be disappointed, mad at him, even though it's not his fault. But then also, they do kind of point out it's just sort of a tough sell, So when he does get caught by the feds and he's just remembered who he is, he's like, I was having some memory problems. And everyone in the whole courtroom's like, memory problems.
Right.
So that doesn't go well for him initially.
Right.
But yeah, the court case is another one of sort of my favorite moments in the movie, because you get to see how this guy uses humor to gain the upper hand, basically in a power struggle, essentially, where he's trying to now be honest and he doesn't want to read off a list of names of people he doesn't know. And so he resorts to humor.
I attended the meeting for the sole purpose of being with her.
Are you asking this committee to believe that you attended a meeting of a communist organization because of a girl?
I'm sure even a majority council like yourself is familiar with the concept of impressing a girl.
Told you're prepared to read a statement purging yourself of communist ties. Yet when questioned about the meeting you attended, you claim not to have gone as a member.
I didn't.
Then what did you attend as?
A horny young man.
And after that, he has the crowd, and now he's won over the public opinion, and you're like,
Right.
this guy's just a goofball. He's not a communist.
Right.
And so they can't win now. And then he actually stands up for what he believes in, and people listen to him.
And he was
now
right.
He's won over their respect. And he was right.
He was right. Like, I thought Adele made the best point in the movie, which is like, all right, yeah, it's not good to be a communist, but like, it's a free country, and you literally can be a communist if you want to be a communist. Like, the whole point of it is the freedom of speech. An interesting fact on that is Lawson, the town of Lawson, was named after John Howard Lawson, who was a writer who was part of what they called the Hollywood 10, which is basically 10 writers who were, basically put in the situation that Peter was, brought before HUAC and said, tell us your communist friends and tell us how you've been doing it. And John Howard Lawson, it's on YouTube. You can go watch the whole thing. But he basically taught the whole thing. And he's basically like, this comes down to, you can't tell me what to think. You can't tell me what to say. That's un-American. And he ends up walking out, makes the people laugh, and walks out. And the non-Hollywood ending of that is that he actually was held in contempt and served a year in prison. So at the time, they went through and actually put him in prison for, communist propaganda because he wouldn't name names because it was un-American, ironically.
Right.
But yeah, John Howard Lawson is big freedom of speech proponent at the time, helped found what is now the WGA, the Writers Guild of America. So, I mean, essential kind of Hollywood staple there that this movie is, once again, kind of paying homage to. But yeah, he's blacklisted and his career was ended. It never rebounded after that. So he was kind of a sacrificial lamb for freedom of speech.
Brutal. I didn't like the way that they kind of got him out of that scenario. Was like, well, you're a hero now. And he's like, I didn't name names. Like, well, yes, you did, because you named your girlfriend at the time's name, and she was the one who named you. So it's okay. Moving on.
Yeah. That was the Hollywood ending. Like, the real guy was like, all right, you're going to jail now. So, yeah. So there was definitely some unrealistic parts. I think probably my most unrealistic thing of the movie, my oh yeah right moment of the movie, would probably just be like how lucky he was in terms of like who he came back as, right? Like, he has amnesia and he comes and he looks exactly like this guy. Everyone in the town loves him, right? He's engaged to this beautiful girl, right? He can play piano like fantastically. He was like the star quarterback, Medal of Honor, and like, just if it was me, if I came back looking, I would be the town drunk. They'd be like, oh God, he's back now. Just send him back over. So, like, what are the odds of the fact that he looks exactly like this guy and everyone loves this guy? Like,
he
his life
bought
was
a
better.
clarinet for that kid. Come on.
Yeah,
Like,
he's too
the
good.
best guy.
He was too good.
Yeah.
So,
and
a little unrealistic.
For me, it's just like, what are the freaking chances that he falls off a bridge, loses his memory, gets scooped up into this one town where this one guy looked exactly like him? And then at the end of all of this, he still gets the girl. Like, what are the chances?
Lucky guy.
He's a very lucky man.
Very lucky guy.
Maybe his name should have been Luck instead of Luke. Please don't put that in.
I am a plastic humanoid. We're just going to toss that joke up to the reptilians. All right. Every week we're going to go over our ratings. I mentioned it last week, but if you missed it, we're adding a new category here, which is fun, right? So the categories are story, rewatchability, fun, emotional impact. Matt's going to do the science realism. I'm going to break down the filmmaking craft of it. Matt, you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
So on the story, out of 10, I'm going to give this a 4. A little unrealistic as we hit. So just from a pure, story and character standpoint, there's some fun moments. I like the dialogue is real well written, but it's a bit of a stretch in just terms of pure story. On rewatchability, I have a 7. As I mentioned before, like, This movie is very rewatchable for me. I had my DVD player set up in my room, and that was a big deal for me. And I had like a stack of DVDs, and this was one of them. And so I had this literally on replay, and I love this movie. So it has that special place for me. Fun to have out of 5. It's not a something that you're gonna can't wait to tell everybody about in that moment that you saw in the movie, but I think it just has like a happy vibe to it. It has like a nostalgic, happy side of it. So I'll put it at a 5 right down the middle. Emotional impact, I have it a 7. I do think that Jim Carrey's acting is very good in this. I thought the scene, especially with him and Martin Landau, a few of them were very, very good. Martin Landau is fantastic in this, of just him, the yearning of just wanting his son back, and the feeling of the town, just when you can feel their heartbreak, right? The PTSD isn't just for the soldiers who were in combat, but the PTSD is also for the town who have lost, their people. That this actually, historically, there are towns like this. There's a town in Virginia in World War II that in one day lost 19 of their young men. Because they all signed up together, they all went and fought together, and then in one battle can take out, a whole classroom of guys. Yeah, and so that part of it was definitely emotionally moving. Filmmaking craft, I'll have it a 6. Just kind of down the middle. I like it. I like the movie. There's nothing spectacular about it. So that's where I'm at. Matt, what do you got?
Story, I gave it a 4 as well. A little far-fetched. Again, toward the end, it gets real good. There are elements to it that I think are really good. Like if you give it how far-fetched it is, it's probably a higher story, but
Yeah.
Rewatchability for me is a 4. I'm surprised you went full 7 with it, but again, I think that's probably just because of what it meant to
It's
you.
nostalgia. Yep. It's one of my movies.
For me, I may rewatch it just because Michelle didn't quite get to the piano scene. I think that was a great scene, and I think she'd really like. So she's a musician, so she'd really love it. So I may rewatch this one. Fun, I gave it a 3, which maybe I could have given it a little better, but I just think like by comparison to what else we have, like
right, I get it.
If this is going head to head with like Butch and Sundance is so fun.
Yep.
This is just not
when we do our bonus features, I might take this down, but right now I'm feeling nostalgic about it. I'm feeling happy about it, so that's where I'm
at. For me, emotional impact, I did give it a 5, which I think is one of my higher ratings on emotional impact, just because I think this did have, like you said, a lot of good scenes. There's sort of the death of his father scene, and then you do have him actually becoming sort of growing a spine at the end, and then coming back to the town, and the town celebrating his return because he stood up for what that town cares about, which is a freaking America,
Yeah.
So, I think it did have some positives on emotional impact. To have that character development, and then to have it celebrated by the characters in the story, I think is great. And then science realism, I gave it a 2. Because if you're going to get amnesia and then be like otherwise completely fine, and then get your memory back, brains don't do that so much.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Good chance if you fell off a bridge and slam your head into a giant concrete pillar in rushing water, you're dead. That's the end of the movie.
Correct. Yeah, you drown after that. You don't wash up on the shore.
Or they clone you and they put you on stage and give you a Lifetime Achievement Award and you speak French. Those are the 2 options typically.
Right.
So maybe now we know what happened.
Yeah. Maybe we do. Or maybe.
All right.
Lizard Man washed up.
Maybe Jim Carrey's actually in some town right now. Nobody, it's the only town in America that doesn't know who Jim Carrey is, and he's just living a life. And I hope he's doing that, and I hope he's happy. So if you're out there, Luke, you know who you are. If you're watching this, I hope this didn't ruin it. But for everybody else watching it, thanks for sticking this far with us through this. We made it through. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Please comment what you guys would like to see next. But it's too late because right now we've already decided. We've locked it in. And next week, we're going back to, we talked about monster flicks. We talked about kind of interesting, great B movies. We're going to the monster flick classic, John Carpenter's The Thing. So this has been really popping up everywhere around us. And Matt and I talked about this. We're like, it's time for The Thing.
Yeah, my algorithm is trying to ruin this movie for me. Everything is like, nobody's telling me that there's spoilers. I don't know that they're talking about the movie The Thing until it's too late. Like, oh, no, please. So it hasn't been totally spoiled for me yet, but I got to watch it soon because it's coming.
All right, Matt, you got a movie to watch The Thing. Movie listers, you guys have 1 week to watch The Thing and come back here next week. And we're going to talk through it together, spoilers and all, and maybe some more ridiculous theories. We'll see. So,
see you guys.
We'll see you next time.